was a dark and stormy night. Alice, a young woman in her mid-20s, was driving home from work when she took a wrong turn and found herself on an unfamiliar road. The rain was pouring down so hard that she could barely see the road ahead. Suddenly, her car hit a pothole and she felt a jolt. The car came to a stop, and Alice realized she had a flat tire. Alice got out of the car and assessed the damage. She realized that she was in the middle of nowhere, with no cell service and no one around to help. She decided to start walking and see if she could find a phone or some shelter. As she walked down the deserted road, Alice felt a sense of unease. The wind was howling, and the trees creaked and groaned. The darkness seemed to be closing in around her, and she felt as if she was being watched. After what felt like hours of walking, Alice saw a light in the distance. As she got closer, she realized it was a small cabin. Relieved, she knocked on the door, hoping someone would answer. After a few moments, an old man opened the door. He had a long beard and wore a tattered shirt and pants. His eyes were dark and sunken, and he looked as if he hadn't slept in days. "Please," Alice said, "I need your help. My car broke down, and I have no way to call for help." The old man stared at her for a moment before inviting her inside. Alice stepped into the dimly lit cabin and noticed that the walls were covered in strange symbols and markings. The air was thick with the smell of herbs and spices. "Sit down," the old man said, pointing to a rickety chair. "I'll see what I can do." Alice sat down, feeling uneasy. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The old man disappeared into another room, leaving Alice alone. As she waited, Alice noticed a book on the table next to her. It was bound in human skin, and the pages were filled with strange incantations and rituals. Alice felt a chill run down her spine. Just then, she heard a noise from the other room. It sounded like chanting, and it grew louder and more intense. Alice tried to get up and leave, but her legs wouldn't move. The chanting continued for what felt like hours, and Alice was unable to move or speak. She felt as if she was trapped in a nightmare, unable to escape. Finally, the chanting stopped, and the old man reappeared. He had a sinister smile on his face, and Alice knew that she was in grave danger. "I'm sorry, my dear," he said, "but you're not going anywhere." Alice tried to scream, but no sound came out. She was trapped in the cabin, with no way to escape. She knew that she was in the hands of a madman, and she had no idea what he was going to do to her. Days turned into weeks, and Alice was held captive by the old man. He performed strange rituals on her, cutting her skin and drawing strange symbols on her body. Alice was in constant pain and fear, and she began to lose hope of ever escaping. Finally, one day, the old man left the cabin to go into town. Alice saw her chance and managed to escape. She ran as fast as she could, not stopping until she reached the nearest town. The police were called, and they raided the cabin. What they found was beyond their worst nightmares. The old man had been performing horrific rituals for years, and Alice was just one of many victims.